Welcome to a new story made by Oracle One. Field Trip to Nowhere. The morning sun crept through the thin slats of the bus windows, casting lines of gold across the tired faces of the students. They were just beginning their long-anticipated field trip, a chance to escape the routine of school and experience the world beyond textbooks. The bus rumbled steadily along the highway, its tires humming a steady rhythm against the asphalt as it carried 39 high school students and 2 chaperones toward a historical nature reserve rumored for its ancient rock formations and elusive wildlife. But beneath the chatter and excitement, an uneasy stillness hung, as if the day itself were holding its breath. Emily sat near the front, her sketchbook open on her lap, pencils scattered about, trying to capture the fleeting shadows of trees zipping by. Since kindergarten, she'd been fascinated by the way light shifted, how moments caught in ink or graphite outlasted the chaos of passing time. Today, that fixation seemed poetic. Time itself was about to become as elusive as the wildlife they sought. The bus driver, Mr. Donovan, a gruff middle-aged man with kind eyes, announced that they were approaching a stretch of road notorious for detours. A minor landslide had temporarily closed the main route, and instead, they would drive along an alternative path winding through the dense, less charted forests on the outskirts. Emotions in the bus shifted subtly, a flicker of apprehension, but also thrill. Adventure, after all, was why they'd come. As the bus veered off the main road, the scenery changed. The trees grew taller, their trunks thick with moss and their branches interwoven into a canopy that almost blocked out the sun. The air grew cooler, rich with the scent of earth and damp leaves. Emily felt a strange weight pressing at her chest, an inexplicable sensation she couldn't quite place, but she brushed it aside, focusing instead on sketching a gnarled oak through the window. 30 minutes passed, then another. The GPS in the chaperone Mrs. Keller's phone flickered, erring into a blank screen. The signal was gone. Must be dead zones in the forest, Mrs. Keller remarked, squinting at her screen. We're probably close to the park now. A ripple of murmurs passed through the bus. But then, as the bus crept over a low hill, something strange happened. The road itself simply disappeared. Or at least, what had been a paved surface moments before now seemed to twist and warp into a cracked, uneven path lined not with asphalt but with strange stones, as if something ancient had taken hold here. The trees pressed closer, their branches like grasping fingers, and the sunlight filtered through with an odd iridescence. Neither harsh nor gentle, but something in between. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Mr. Donovan? Mrs. Keller called softly. Are you sure this is the right road? Mr. Donovan frowned. It should be. I've been driving this route for years. Then the bus rolled past a small, forgotten sign, half swallowed by vines and moss. It was a faded wooden plank with the single word, "Nowhere," carved into it. The bus came to a slow stop, and a heavy silence settled over the passengers. No one spoke. No one moved. Emily looked at her watch. Her heart quickened. The hands showed exactly 11:47 a.m. But then, glancing outside again, she noticed something more unsettling. The sun hung lower in the sky than it should have been. The shadows seemed at odds with time itself. Time was breaking. Mrs. Keller finally broke the silence, a nervous laugh escaping. Well, this must be some kind of joke. A prank, maybe? Welcome to nowhere. Emily shook her head, her eyes darting to the trees. She felt hot and cold at once. Someone at the back of the bus coughed loudly. Does anyone else feel weird? As if on cue, a soft, low murmur of agreement drifted across the seats. Charlie, the class clown, leaned forward. Come on, guys. It's just a detour. Nothing strange about it. But even as he said that, his voice wavered with uncertainty. Mr. Donovan cleared his throat, starting the bus engine again. Let's try to backtrack. Maybe this road loops back to the highway. But as the bus reversed along the bumpy path, their surroundings seemed to shift subtly. Trees that had been on their left now appeared on the right. The sounds of the forest, birdsong, rustling leaves, fell eerily silent. The breeze died away. The bus's engine sputtered and died. "Great," Mrs. Keller sighed. "We're stuck." Emily pressed her forehead against the cool window, watching the distorted landscape stretch out before her like a dream gone wrong. The feeling of unease deepened. Then someone screamed. It was Marcus, from the middle row. "My watch." It stopped. Emily looked at his wrist. The digital watch's screen was frozen at 11:49. "Mine too," whispered Jamie, holding up her smartphone. The screen was dark, unresponsive. Emily looked at her own sketchbook. The pencil tip broke in mid-line. A strange sensation prickled at her fingers. "I don't understand," Mrs. Keller murmured, rubbing her temples. "Wait," said Emily, suddenly realizing something. Time might be moving differently here. The students exchanged nervous glances. "What do you mean?" Charlie asked, pulling a hair out of his eyes. Emily fumbled to explain the theory she'd read about but never truly believed. That in certain spaces, time could dilate or compress, depending on unknown forces, leaving some people moving faster or slower relative to others. "That's impossible," Mr. Donovan muttered. But even as he spoke, the cold truth unspooled inside Emily's mind. They weren't just lost. They were trapped in an impossible place, a pocket where time fractured. The minutes dragged. Sunshine dimmed and brightened without rhyme. Some students swayed, dizzy or agitated. Others sat numb, as if time had slowed to a crawl around them. Emily's head swam with visions of moments repeating, stretching, folding. Mrs. Keller pulled out her emergency whistle and blew, hoping for rescue, a signal that would never come. By late afternoon, an odd stratification had formed. Emily noticed that some classmates seemed to experience hours like minutes, twitchy and jumpy, and others, like herself, moved through time sluggishly, barely moving but vividly aware. Marcus had aged visibly. A stubble appeared on his chin. Jamie's clothes looked rumpled and faded, while Charlie's remained pristine and youthful. Confused whispers filled the bus. "What's happening to us?" asked Olivia, a quiet girl from the back. "Maybe this is some kind of curse or spell," muttered Ben, eyes darting nervously. Emily took a deep breath, adjusting the glasses perched on her nose. She felt a surge of determination. If time here was fluid, then the way through must be tied to understanding it, harnessing it. She recalled an old legend about a place called the Fold, said to exist outside linear time, where people who entered would be tested by the passage of moments themselves. It dawned on her that this nowhere was exactly that. "We have to synchronize," Emily said, voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. "If time is fractured, maybe we can find a way to move through it together, to align ourselves." "Are you insane?" Charlie laughed nervously. "How do you even know that's possible?" "We have to try," Mrs. Keller said firmly, surprising everyone. Emily pulled out her sketchbook and started drawing a circle, intricate and strange, lines woven like a clock face. She instructed the students to hold hands, close their eyes, and imagine themselves moving through time as one. The atmosphere shifted. The heavy fog of panic lifted a fraction. For the first time since they'd arrived, time seemed to settle. The sun resumed a steady descent. But then, an echoing sound, faint but unmistakable, a low humming, like a heartbeat rising from the trees. Emily opened her eyes, breathing hard. That sound. It's something else. Maybe it's the key. Outside, the forest seemed alive with movement, shadows flickering between the trunks. Suddenly, the bus shuddered. The engine roared back to life, stronger than before. The students tensed, gripping each other's hands. "Mr. Donovan," Mrs. Keller said, try the road again." With a deep breath, the driver shifted gears and the bus rolled forward. The world around them warped once more, shifting like a wave through time. Then, slowly, the scenery began to normalize. The dead patches of forest gave way to familiar sights: distant mountains, flowing rivers, the golden fields of the nature reserve. The GPS flickered back on. Time caught up. Outside the windows, a procession of late afternoon light bathed the bus in warmth. The students looked at one another, wide-eyed and silent, the air between them thick with unanswered questions. Emily closed her sketchbook and whispered, "We made it. But some things here don't follow the rules." Mrs. Keller nodded. "And maybe the biggest lesson of all is that time isn't just ticking away, it's alive, shifting, shaping us." The bus rolled into the park's entrance just as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, a sky painted with strokes of rose and violet signaling the close of day. For all of them, this field trip would never be just a school excursion. It was a passage, a reminder that sometimes, the journey through the unknown teaches us more about ourselves and the fragile, mutable nature of time than any textbook could. Emily gazed out the window one last time before they disembarked, the last vestiges of nowhere slipping behind them like a fading dream. Like and subscribe for more stories.